So it appears Ofcom is monitoring VPNs, another Online Safety Act fallout. If you want to imagine a world where even your VPN, a tool designed to protect your privacy, is being monitored by the same regulator, well, we're in it now. It's the same people enforcing the online safety laws. Ofcom are trying to monitor VPN usage. It's happening right now. Now there's a TechRadar article published at the weekend, I think. And Ofcom has confirmed to them that it is actively monitoring VPN usage across the UK as part of its enforcement of the Online Safety Act. And some details of how they're doing it are kind of revealing. Let's just have a look. This is the article, surrounded with VPN adverts. Ironically, so Exclusive Ofcom is monitoring VPNs following the Online Safety Act, and there's quite a long article there, and they've got some statements from Ofcom in there. I'll link that in the description below if you want to read it. But what is it anyway? So here's the background. Why are VPNs in the spotlight? Lots of users, millions of users really, are looking away around new restrictions. Primarily things like age verification on adult websites. Games consoles are now implementing age verification, and you need ID frequently to get past lots of blocks online. And many websites are simply inaccessible now from the UK, and they check UK IP addresses. So if you use a VPN, you can go and access them without being blocked. Something I've demonstrated using NordVPN in this channel several times. But millions of us are using for new VPN. There are new VPN users to get around all these restrictions, basically. So by Ofcom's estimates, their own estimates, the number of daily VPN users rose to around 1.5 million following the introduction of mandatory age checks just on adult websites. That surge obviously got Ofcom's attention because of just the way the Online Safety Act has just reshaped how the internet works in the UK and how websites handle age checks. So how's Ofcom monitoring VPNs? How exactly is a regulator tracking VPN usage without actually invading people's privacy? Well, according to that TechRadar report, Ofcom have told them, we use a leading third-party provider, which is widely used in the industry to gather information on VPN usage. The provider combines multiple data sources to train its models and generate usage estimates. Now, I've got some idea who this might be. I'm not entirely sure, though. I'm going to do some more research and look out for a further video on that. They added that the data we access and use in our analysis is fully aggregated at the app level, and no personal identifiable or user level information is ever included. So in plain English, Ofcom isn't watching directly the VPN usage. They're buying access to things like aggregated data, VPN uploads, downloads, sessions, and overall trends. Bit of a catch. They really refused to name the company providing that data. I don't know why. That's an odd thing. Why is it so secret? As I say, watch for another video on that. The mystery vendor and lack of transparency. So, the unknown provider. TechRadar says Ofcom uses a leading third-party provider, but refused to identify the company. Which technically means that no one outside Ofcom knows what data sources are actually being combined, how accurate their model is, or whether there is some risk of re-identifying users. The re-identification risk is, the article in TechRadar puts it like this: while identifiable information may be excluded from the data that Ofcom analysed, there's nothing that suggests the data is not at risk of re-identification. So perhaps most importantly, it warns us that the regulator is using tools to specifically track the public's use of software designed to enhance digital privacy. It's bound to ring alarm bells, this. And the fact that they're being a bit cagey about the provider means perhaps there's more to this data than just you're using a VPN or buying or VPN downloads and stuff like that. So why is Ofcom doing this? Why is it monitoring VPN usage? They've already said the VPNs are not illegal, but they realise that it's a simple way to bypass a lot of the age verification laws. So Ofcom, what's the goal really? Ofcom says the monitoring helps them understand how users might be bypassing the new age of verification systems that the Online Safety Act requires for certain types of content at the moment. From their perspective, if under 18s are simply installing a VPN to get around these, the entire regulatory system could fail, which is what we pointed out several times. But privacy campaigners argue that monitoring VPN usage at all undermines the principle of online privacy and anonymity. This is what VPNs exist to protect. They're actively attacking VPN usage. Ignoring VPN risks creating ineffective laws, but tracking them threatens people's privacy. So, wider concerns, reactions, civil liberties groups, including the open rights groups, say that sets a dangerous precedent. VPNs are completely illegal. They're used by businesses, journalists, privacy-conscious users. Lots of people probably watching this video at the moment use VPNs every day. I certainly do. So while Ofcom insists the data is aggregated, the idea of any government regulator monitoring privacy tools, even indirectly, is rather controversial. It's again this thin end of the wedge where it doesn't sound too risky and then it escalates and it's bigger and it's more intrusive. What's this data aggregation model going to be expanded to next? Is it going to include other privacy tools in future? Are we talking about scanning encrypted messages or proxy services? So final thoughts, just to keep this video shorter than usual. VPNs are a tool for privacy. But let's be clear, there's no evidence currently that Ofcom is directly breaking into your VPN or decrypting your traffic anyway. There's no evidence of that. Knowing the provider would help, though. Monitoring digital footprints, Ofcom's tracking of VPN usage via third-party AI models highlights the Online Safety Act's growing reach into digital privacy with a data vendor still unnamed. So who's watching the watchers? Who's watching Ofcom? What are they doing? Who says where they can start and where they can stop? There's very little transparency and accountability, especially when they refuse to name who they're using. So that's it. Tech Privacy Explained, another thrilling episode. So support the channel if you enjoyed this video and help like and subscribe if you want more tech and privacy insights. We try and keep up to date with this stuff. It's quite fast moving and there are lots of things that fly under the radar if you're not careful. So join the conversation below if Ofcom's VPN monitoring a safeguard or is it an overreach? What do you think? And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.